In May of this year, I opened my 12th bill for my Honda Prologue, and it kinda grinded my gears, even though the Prologue doesn't have a transmission. You see, I knew the tax credits were ending, and that's why I was frustrated. I was gonna need to pay at least $6,000 more in interest on the Prologue. You know, the loan that got me out of that crazy Fisker Ocean. And only then would I be right side up on it. It was 7.7%, and I knew the tax credits were going away, and by the time I was dead even on the Prologue, they would be long gone, and who knows what the market was going to be like. And with a payment on the Prologue of $10.50 a month, I could be paying for 2 EVs and way less interest. So I decided to pay off the Prologue and its negative equity and make some additional moves. And no, I didn't sell this vehicle to get this vehicle. But this was too good of a deal to pass up. It's cheaper than like a used 10-year-old car would have been as far as the payment, and I went into it with every intention of purchasing it outright. And today I'll address the highlights of both of these cars, why they couldn't be more opposite, but I believe both can do everything. At $285 a month, the Subaru is definitely a good value, but I believe the Blazer is too, especially because of the SS badge. But before I go into that, let's talk about use case. I did not buy the Subaru Solterra because I thought it would be the best EV. In fact, I'm pretty sure that of the options there are on the market when it comes to all-wheel drive, the Solterra is probably closer to the bottom. But that doesn't make it bad. Toyota uses Kaizen, which is, in a word, efficiency. And those principles trickle down into the car all over the place. The ergonomics of driving, the use of space, and a general simplicity when it comes to experience. And this vehicle meets a very specific set of needs for me. Here they are in order of importance. All-wheel drive capability. Convenient for a small person to use in tight, unfamiliar spaces. The cheapest possible vehicle that plugs into the wall. Safety and warranty, value and resale. I have no need for this vehicle to perform on road trips, but it will. I have no need for this vehicle to be efficient, but it is. Reasonably, even though I won't drive it enough for that to even become an issue. In fact, I should be able to charge it 100% from the sun if I choose to. For the Blazer, which is my daily driver and also our family vehicle, I only have 4 requirements. Exclusivity, yes, I'm that bad. But after the Fisker Ocean debacle and everything else, I really do want an exclusive car. It is clear and evident to me that that's one of the things that I'm excited for in a vehicle. 2 is excellent practicality. That's plenty of space everywhere, cup holders, you can put stuff in it for a road trip, that kind of thing. Number 3 is comfort on road trips, and that can mean a lot of things. That's like headroom and legroom combined. The seats need to be comfortable. We need to be able to have really good infotainment that's going to get you from A to B easily and get you out of a jam when you're lost or can't find a place to charge. That sort of thing. And then finally, after owning the Prologue, I absolutely loved it, and the only thing that I missed was lane centering, my 4th requirement. Some people have different needs, and some people may be on the road so much that being on the road isn't enjoyable. In fact, that's how my wife is most of the time. But I'm not that way. My wife also likes to travel a lot because she had an extremely successful and very stressful professional career, and because of the hard work she had to put in during her youth, she hasn't had the opportunity to travel like she wanted to. And it's my goal for my family trips and excursions to fix that. Our requirement for a vacation, it doesn't matter about how long, it doesn't really matter where it is, as long as it's someplace we've never been. We take back roads, we stop often, and we pack light on clothes and heavy on snacks. So any stop becomes a little picnic, if you will. We don't like the interstate or high speeds or traffic. And on a trip, we try our best to enjoy each other's company. As much as I'm a nerd and I talk too much about EV road trips while I'm on EV road trips, I think that's probably our only issue when it comes to that. One time we drove to the beach to get pizza, and I don't live close to the beach. I had a work trip, but because I'm a YouTuber, I brought my family and we stayed at a ski resort. Because
that works. That's what we're going with.
Well, okay then.
I put about 10,000 miles a year on my vehicle just in road trips. The Blazer is perfect for this. The Subaru kind of sucks after about 200 miles, but for the first 200 miles, it's perfectly fine. And having the 2 vehicles combined gives me,
by your powers combined, I am Captain Planet!
Huh? Anybody else want to go green?
Yeah,
That's what I thought.
I have access to Google Assistant. I have access to wireless CarPlay. And today I'll try to prove that the interface in my GM is perfectly acceptable, if not just as good as wireless CarPlay once you get it dialed in. And all of the Solterra's shortcomings are totally worth it when it comes to the lack of cost for the price of admission. Am I an expert on use cases? Maybe not, but I have had vehicles that cover them all. In fact, the most versatile, cheapest to own for the first 3 years, longest range under $100,000, most efficient under $100,000, most convenient to get in and out of, best app, most technology, best navigation, best charging network, best value for money in an all-wheel drive vehicle sits right beside mine in the garage every day. But it cost $40,000. The Solterra was $30,000. And the only competitor with my current daily driver is a Mach-E GT, and it happens to be 5 years old, eliminating my exclusivity requirement. And nothing else comes even close to the amount of horsepower that I got for less than $60,000 new. In fact, let's talk about that SS badge. The Super Sport was originally a C1 Corvette with a show car makeover. A 1956 standard production C1 was modded and wore the Super Sport moniker for the first time. The modifications were made to deliver a racetrack-ready variant, complete with a wiper and windshield delete, cosmetic clones from the SR2 racing Corvettes, and even a dashboard-mounted clipboard inside to keep track of your lap times. It was all the pedigree of a racing vet fitted to a show car example of the production unit for ultimate flash and automotive chic. And just like any other one-off show car, it has a colorful history complete with wrecks, neglect, and restoration. But the first consumer access to the SS was actually a kit available for the 1961 Impala that included Super Sport trim for both interior and exterior, chassis reinforcements, stronger springs and shocks, power brakes, spinner wheel covers, and a narrow band white wall tire. And GM has given the same treatment to the SS badge with similar fanfare throughout present day. Of course, not without a couple missteps and confusion. But that didn't mean the SS wasn't meaningful, powerful, and a staple of American culture from the time it started until today. Depending on what era you grew up in, the SS might take different forms, but it always meant something similar. It was GM flexing its American muscle. It was Chevy's way of saying, we aren't just GM's budget brand, we are GM's performance arm. The SS represented value for money with tons of horsepower at a pedestrian price. And people who bought an SS were in it for the cause. I am a brand ambassador for GM, and I dig American muscle car performance as well as GM aesthetic. GTI, SI, these were literally attempts to copy the SS community in America. Rarity, reminiscence, and resale. Each SS was a salute to the past and a taste of the future of muscle car performance. And you didn't have to drive it fast to feel something. Was it nappy roots? Because it definitely was not Macklemore. Regardless, if the term ballin' on a budget wasn't coined to describe SS owners, it should have been. In 2010, a Camaro SS was $33,000, well equipped. The Corvette was more like $55,000. And yet both sported the same LS3 under the hood. Today, that same Corvette sells for $29,000, while the SS sells for $23,000. I'd argue that both are good deals, but the SS owner knows that the badge on the back is a depreciation shield. And I believe that's still true today. But to get comps, we need to look outside of Chevrolet, with the closest thing being Cadillac. The base price of a Lyriq V, and that's the base price, is $78,595. The Optic V starts at $68,795. The SS, which is in between those two in size, starts at $63,985. The new Model Y Performance, which is only 1/10 of a second faster to 60, and those are Tesla numbers, is $59,130. Which is about $1,000 less than I paid for my Blazer SS. But the SS will be significantly more rare. And at 615 horsepower, the competition is narrow at best. But the rest of the competition can't really compare on horsepower per dollar. Engineering Explained just bought a Lucid Air Touring
for a car that stickers for $84,450 based on my build. But leased, I'm paying about $32K for 3 years with a buyout price after the lease of about $39K, so about $72K total, which, as you'll notice, is less than just buying the car outright.
That's a really good deal for what you get. Like, really good. So good that because he has so many long-distance use cases, I recommended Brian get the same model of the same car that Engineering Explained purchased. But if it's the horsepower you're after, the SS is an absolute steal. The SS is 0.4 of a second faster to 60 than a $100,000 Tesla Model X. It's $30,000 cheaper than a Hummer EV SUV with less horsepower. It's $40,000 cheaper than the Hummer SUV that does the same 0 to 60 time.
The only EV that
You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that? And you can get a great deal on a Mercedes EQ series, but I doubt they'll knock $50,000 off the price of a new one. The BMW iX, as shown, $96,500, with almost 100 less horsepower and an entire second slower to 60. And my favorite feature with the SS is personality. Do you know them? My wife asks on a regular basis. At first I was curious, but now I have a prepared response. Nope. They're just waving at the car. People aren't going to wave at a Model Y Performance. They might wave at a Lucid, but not for the same reasons. The Lucid is a triumph in efficiency and packaging, and they are rare to see. The SS is a triumph in nostalgia and personality from a brand that's been everywhere for always.
For all time. Always.
Reviewers have called the interior boring, the vents hideous, the wheels stupid, because they don't get it. But when someone gets it, they wave. Argue all you want, but it's not dissimilar to women screaming at Elvis in the mid-50s. The vents are highly functional. The screens give it a cockpit feel. The Super Cruise is standard. The interior is spacious. The bins are cavernous. The red is everything. And the cargo room is really good, but not as good as this thing. While the Blazer oozes emotion, nostalgia, and performance, this thing couldn't be more opposite. Full disclosure, I would never on my worst day after a concussion and facing the threat of torture by a gas-powered Subaru. It is my second worst car brand on my list of worst car brands, behind fix or repair daily gas cars. I don't feel that way about electric Fords.
The cylinder head is cracked, it's blowing coolant into the turbo and messed up the turbo, and took out the cat with it. Like a chain reaction.
And if you're a Subaru owner or a gas Ford fan, I'm sorry, but also, it doesn't matter what your favorite brand is, I would not buy a gas car from them. And Ford is number one in worst car brands because at least the failures from your Subaru will be predictable. Subaru likes to claim that this was co-developed with Toyota, just like the powertrain for the Supra was co-developed with BMW. But the interior tells a different story. What other Toyotas have iDrive? Plus, the Solterra is a RAV4, which is great. I bought it to replace my old RAV4, which I love. I just didn't like the oil changes, the $40 a month more in insurance. Yes, a 13-year-old Toyota is 1.5 times more expensive to insure than my 2025 Solterra. And I didn't like paying for fuel either. Remember, I have solar. The difference between the Solterra and my old RAV4 is Toyota hates EV owners. It's the only explanation for the regen setting to default to minimum, the brake hold to default to off. But once you complete the steps to neutralize the oh-so-poor defaults, this car is pretty awesome. It's peppy, it has more cargo room than the Blazer, and all the other dimensions are big enough. I will admit I'm 6 feet tall, which means there's a version of everything on Earth tailored exactly to my size. I can walk into any store and buy the word large, and it will fit perfectly. The Solterra is no exception in that category. But my wife can also see out of it very well and loves how easy it is to drive. That cannot be said about the Prologue. She loved the Prologue, but for her, on a daily basis navigating in and outside of towns and tight spaces, it was too big and too hard to see out of. The Subaru feels like it's in a hurry. It's not out here breaking the law. But it gets out of its own way. The steering wheel is small and easy to use. The driver aids are annoyingly helpful. The adaptive cruise is great. The lane centering is absolutely good enough, and the exact same thing can be said about the range. Solterra's short range is a deal breaker. Prologue, Chevy, has longer range and a larger car. I appreciate your feedback. The Solterra is my 9th EV, and at this point I'm certain that 220 miles of range is about 60 more than I'll ever need in a vehicle. I can count the number of times I've used more than 220 miles of range in one sitting on one hand, and it was always at the very end of a very long trip. I like stopping, to be honest. I might discover something new about the area or the car. I can feel rested. Everyone in the vehicle can use the restroom, and the trip feels more like an adventure than a chore. If someone drives 250 miles a day or doesn't have a driveway or a place to charge at home, I can understand it. The tires on the Solterra will be cheap to replace and hard to pop in the meantime. They're 60 series. The black paint hides the stupid plastic fenders very well. Wireless CarPlay works great once you get it set up. Just don't get in the car without your phone and then try to reactivate it, because the rest of the menus and screens are gas car garbage. Let's look at this menu here. You have to continue pressing that button. Start pressing the up and down buttons here. You got your leaf and your adaptive cruise mode. Looks like music, trip, and then your alert system. Lane departure alert, BSM, PCS, PDA, Parking Assist, which is the beeping, RCTA, PKSB, Safe Exit Assist, RSA, and then Vehicle Settings, Brake Suggestion, Traffic Jam Assist, DMC Recording, LCA, DRCC, FCTA, TPWS, Driver Monitor Camera, so you can change all those settings as well. But I'm not a big settings guy. This is what I wanted right there. And in order to get your pressures to display like this, what you need to do is go to the menu, start pressing the up and down buttons here, up and down, and this is what it looks like when you move them. And so you get to trip information. That's what this is. It is trip, and then now you're using left and right. And with that, you actually go to, so you have all-wheel drive, but you have tire pressure, and you press OK. So now, hopefully, my tire pressure will display. Boy, that's nice. The driver's display is rich in information. 146 miles of range with the climate on. Watch if I turn it off. Now I have 162. Turn it back on. Turn off eco mode. You see there were two changes there. So without eco mode on, I've got 146 miles of range. Bottom left odometer, top left temperature, top right time, bottom right percentage, and then your miles of range as well as a progress bar for it. And then the left-hand side, of course, will be your charge or discharge. You see the two red swipes? I'm pressing the brake pedal, now I'm not. So in the event you turn on any kind of regen settings, you will know exactly when your brake lights are being applied, which is nice. Here's my reverse camera. I was really, really close in the front. Now while you're backing up, not only do you get the noise outside, but you get the dinging, listen. And I'm buckled in, so it just does that. As soon as you start driving, you have to go boom, boom. Now we have the foot on the top left-hand side, and we have the hold on the right-hand side. Hold in green means it's on. Hold in orange means it's engaged. The paddles, however, are stupid and very 2016. There's no one-pedal driving, which is pure foo-foo, but it has my favorite fob entry method. Touch the little ridges to lock, touch the inside of the door handle to unlock. The charge port caps are done the correct way, but you have to turn off the car before you plug it into fast charge. But don't get caught plugging it in while it's turned on. Then you have to unplug the CCS inlet and restart your charging session, no matter what. But how many of you guys are going to road trip this car? 10%? 5% maybe? I'm thinking rideshare drivers and EV veterans. This car road trips really well, minus the charging. I'm not making excuses, however. The Solterra is road trip expert mode. Navigation, once you get to it, is $16 a month. So I'm not going to be showing you the navigation in the Subaru, unfortunately. So why did I make the Solterra expert mode by not paying for the navigation? Well, the whole point of the Solterra is cheap. It's literally half the cost of my Blazer. And I don't have to pay anything for the services in my Blazer, at least for the first 3 years. So I'll do what any person would do who can't afford to add more services. I'll try to make it without the services. If I add that $16 a month, the Solterra becomes more than $300 a month. No thank you. But what I did do is recently, for another video, which subscribe, you'll be able to check it out. I did subscribe to a better route planner, which this is my departure percentage, and I don't even think I have the right vehicle input, but let's go ahead and set it up for the Subaru. I have 66%. It changes on the screen as well. Sure. Planning with unknown. All right, there you go. 3 stops, 2 EV goes. So that's cool. Okay, well, what's this? Manual state of charge adjustment. That's nice. You can do it in the car. Now it's got me Tesla EV go, just like I did before. But the reason why is because I have Rivian turned off. Let's turn Rivian back on and see what happens. I just turned that Rivian from thumbs down to nothing. Let's do the exact same plan. Now it has me at the Rivian. That Rivian is 60 cents per kilowatt hour. So I didn't go the way I was supposed to go for a better route planner, and it just canceled my trip. It just said, instead of 42 minutes, 44 miles, it just said 00. I guess I have to go the way that it says, or it doesn't work. That's frustrating. All right, so it has me turning left, but I'm gonna go right. So it has me coming down here.
Turn left.
And it says turn left, but I'm not. I'm gonna turn right. Now let's see what happens. Yeah, route is over. 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Arrival time is current time. So if you don't follow every turn to the T, you lose a better route plan. So I have to end this. Okay, clear plan, okay. Drive, search, search. Now I'm in drive. Let's see if it does anything. So if I clear my current route and then I start again and search for the route, which I would have to do with my fingers, I would have to search for the route, then I can add it again. And it always adds this Rivian. This entire vehicle's experience is expert mode. Here's my eye level. I have my seat position set to the height of my wife. Also, the mirrors are set to how she wants them. That way, when she gets in the car and has to go, there's nothing to do except adjust the seat back and forth. These mirrors are so big that the setting for my wife works for me and her. So massive rear view mirrors. In fact, the Blazer and the Solterra are almost the same width if you count the mirrors. Here's our interstate merge. Go ahead and get over. And then we just press the cruise. And then it'll say adaptive mode is on. Anytime someone pulls in front of me, I'll get notifications, things of that nature. It'll bust me if I'm not looking at the road as well. Next, we're going to go ahead and do lane centering. That's this button here. Now my lane centering is on, but we are doing a 70 mile per hour test, so I will use this button. And there was my notification saying I needed to touch the wheel. Car, trip information. Go ahead and clear data. Okay. And that's what you get for the trip. It's not telling me miles per kilowatt hour, except this little thing over here. Which, what is that? And why would the gauge for miles per kilowatt hour be 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10? Who's getting 10 miles per kilowatt hour in this thing? And then there's another way to get miles per kilowatt hour. I can go to this button here. I don't know what 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour is. We're going to use the trip data when I get out of the car. It's the best way I've seen to get actual numbers. Obviously, I'm not getting that at 70 miles an hour going up Cooper's Rock Hill. It's really hard to get data in the Solterra. Also, I put a USB-A to USB-C right here to charge my phone because there's no wireless charging here in this trim. And I never open this because it just reflects light into my face. So this is just the way this looks all the time. 70 miles an hour would be 72 in this car, because as you can see, a better route planner thinks it's 67. So that's probably a GPS. And now that I'm at 70, it's telling me I'm going 68. I would have to increase to 72. So now we know it's 2 miles off. Okay, here's our exit. I'm just gonna get off this exit here and we'll head straight back. So a better route planner won't let me plan anything unless I put it in park. So we're gonna have to do it this way. Hey Siri, navigate to home. I think we're gonna gamble. I've got 35%, 78 miles of range. It's telling me 43 miles till I get home. However, I used 33% essentially to get here, and it says I have 35. So it would be stupid to go all the way home. However, I know the elevation is a ton of change and it's all to the down from where I'm at. So I think we'll be okay. I am going 72 now, which we know is actually 70. And it looks like my lifetime miles per kilowatt hour has come down to 3.5. But again, I don't know what my arrival percentage is going to be. And there's no way, because I don't pay $16 a month, there's no way for me to find out unless I stop and put the vehicle in park. That's the only time a better route planner will give me access to a further plan. Otherwise, I'd have to literally use my phone, which is illegal. Made it to the supercharger. This is where you get your data. You have to wait until you turn off the car. So here we go. Power down. 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. I'd say that this is at least 0.2 of a mile per kilowatt hour. Too good. Now, I had to turn it off because it's the only way to supercharge. And in the event that I had opened the door, if you notice, the door opening notification is in the same place. Had I opened the door, all that data would have disappeared the instant I opened the door. So if you want to know what your efficiency is, make sure you check before you open the door or you'll lose it. Let's charge this thing. First, we got to see if I'm close enough. I think just barely. I think we are going to barely make it with the adapter. If you notice, I'm over top down here, so I've cut it pretty close. Now I will plug the adapter in, and now I have to enable the supercharger. It's gonna say charge here. I'm at 2D, and since it's still hanging up, it's gonna let me do it. So start charging, and then we'll grab the handle, and we also have to press the bottom. In it goes, and there it went. So charging away. Let's see how fast it does go. Well, there's 93 kilowatts. That's really good. 96. All right, so obviously you're at the supercharger and you're with your, let's say you have family instead of a tripod in the seat, you have your family and they are hot. So what are you gonna do? Well, you're gonna turn the power back on now that you're plugged in, and then it says activate my room mode, and you hit OK on the steering wheel to say yes. Now it says climate system may be disabled automatically. Never leave children unattended. Either way, that's how you do it. Now it says time to full charge 30 minutes. Let's hope it's not that slow. I set my daily charge limit at 70, and because I forgot to change it before I plugged in, I can't change it now. Another fun expert mode fact about the Solterra. Okay, charging session is almost over. We're at 68%, and I just want to report to you what happens when it ends. You get a push notification from Subaru, your Tesla app tells you to unplug, and my room mode turns off. Okay, charging stopped at 9:17. If you notice, the car turns itself back off. I didn't do that. It turns itself back off. Best way to do the Lectron is bottom end, so, and then hang it up. And then top end, pull it out, shut your gates. And now we get to start it back up. Or do we? There it goes. And that's a DC charging session in the Solterra. All right, so Connie was the last person to drive. So all I have to do is get in here and then scoot the seat back, and that's it. The steering wheel doesn't have to be moved. Mirrors don't have to be adjusted. We're good to go. And I failed at my last attempt to get efficiency test at 70 miles an hour because I didn't know you needed to go 72. So we're gonna do it again. All right, here we are. We are literally looking at I-79 North. I'm gonna go to the trip. I'm gonna clear this data. The next thing I'm gonna do is I've got that 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. I'm gonna hold OK to reset. All right, and then the next thing I'm gonna do is turn off the car, because that trip was 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour, but I was not doing 70 miles per hour. I'm just letting the car know that I'm cool. All right, and I'll open the door to cancel it all. And now we're going to start the vehicle. So we're going to go to vehicle, trip information, 0 miles per hour, trip duration 0, history, that's latest. All right, so maybe this is what we do. We just click on history. I don't know why you would do that, but here we go. I'm at 0, 0, 0, 0. It's going to be 70 with eco mode on, and that's how I'm feeling good right now. I'm not going to compromise anything, but here we go. We're going straight onto the interstate, and I'm using about 50% power to get up to speed. Blinker. Now we need to go 72 all the time. Cool thing about this is it actually is going to tell us our average speed. It's kind of a mess making this thing stay at 72. I get it's to 73 and then it goes to 71. But basically I'm fighting the good fight and we're keeping it there. Average speed's up to 62, and at least we're figuring out that this guy right here, if I go to history, I get my miles per kilowatt hour, and if I reset this meter, when I want to measure it, it'll tell me the same thing that this tells me. So I guess that's good to know. 1 mile to our next exit, then we're going to get off. Still reading 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour. Average speed is up to 64. Cruise is off. Blinker is on. We are heading down the exit ramp. And we're going to get right back on, hopefully. So it's a little bit of a detour, but not too bad. I have never gotten off that exit before. Now when you go around a steep turn, the Subaru is going to slow down and you can't do anything about it, and you get that little curvy road notification. 62 miles an hour still. We'll get back off at Mount Morris. That'll make it a loop, and we'll report the results. The first portion of the loop is mostly uphill, and obviously that makes the second part of the loop mostly downhill. I think we're going to get a really surprising result here. It's telling me 3.2 miles per kilowatt hour. There might be 1/10 of a kilowatt hour we could shave off, because I did spend that short period of time going from one exit to the other on-ramp, but I don't know if it's going to make that much of a difference. I'm going to come to a stop as quickly as possible. Cancel the cruise. Keeping my blinker on. We're going to start the regen immediately. That 1/10 of a kilowatt hour there, we're definitely shaving. 3.2 is going to be our answer. I'm going to come to a stop as soon as absolutely possible. In fact, I'll just stop right here. Flashers. Power off. There it is. So I'm shaving that last because that 3.3 did not pop on until I was braking to come down the on-ramp. So maybe a 1/10 for the on-ramp halfway, and we'll shave that other 1/10. I gotta call this 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour. This is a pretty darn efficient vehicle. But now, of course, my Blazer is jealous. So let's do the thing that we need to do to take a tour of the outside. That is the I don't have a power button button. Your vehicle will remain on for 60 minutes. Because when you open the door, that turns it off. And we'll just start right here with the charge port. If you put it in gear, it will close automatically. Wheels are 22-inch. These are the all-season 275/40/22. Calipers are gold, Brembo with the SS badge, and still plenty of room in there for suspension travel. The suspension is fully independent, but it is not adjustable. If you notice, the logo is not illuminated. When the lights come on, the logo lights up. But during the day, this is what the running lights look like. This is the running light, but the headlight is actually here. There's your SS badge. It's pretty inconspicuous. The only way to know the SS is this grille area right here, and this bottom lip is in gray, and I believe gray is the only color it comes in. But basically, unless you have a black one, the Blazer is going to be two-tone. I've got a black top and a white midsection, and then obviously the black underneath. You also have that gray trim right along here as well. And then the wheels do have a little bit of a gray sheen in here. There's a little bit of a gray fleck to it, and the closer you get, the kind of the prettier and more detailed it is. There's a light right here on the Elite Prologue, but there isn't one here, a splash light. You don't get one on the SS. You do have cameras that do your 360 surround. These are the same as a Chevy Bolt and probably likely the entire GM lineup. The best thing about this, in my opinion, is that these are real door handles. They are mechanical. There's nothing that's just going to break or shut down or keep you locked in or out of the car. I really like this design highlight. It could be for aerodynamics. It could be for styling. I really like the two-tone. Next, you have the red indicator, and this is the only red you're going to catch on the taillights when they are out. The rest of them are clear on the SS trims. Liftgate is automatic. Down in here, this is where I keep my car cleaning supplies, but you have a decent amount of room here. I keep my Ultium level 1, level 2 combo cable down there, but there is a lot of space. I bought this from a local dealer. Got lights. The Blazer is wide. Pop the seat. There are 2 levels. 1, and then a recline is 2. It's all manual. It's all right there. And when that's down, that means it's in place. Here's your close button. You cannot adjust the height unless you set it to be adjustable in the infotainment menu. Closure. There is a setting on here to where if you walk up, it will beep 4 times and open as long as you have the key on you. I don't have that turned on currently. The only way to denote that this is the electric version, obviously they look completely different. The 3 blue stripes. The bow tie has like a dot matrix type of highlight, but it is blacked out. This is Aero down here. Aero carries over to the front as well. Once you get in there, you can see it does go through. Pardon the beeping. You can't open this without the door open, and it is a double pull, so 1, 2. Your lift is not here. There's nothing to grab because it's that double lift. As you can see, no frunk. There was plenty of room for it, but I like the fact that this stuff is accessible. In order to get to these components, obviously that's not something that's done very often, but in order to get to these components in, say, a Tesla, you kind of have to tear apart a bunch of clips like these here. The most interesting thing under here of note is the 6-way valve to keep all the components, battery, motors, inverters, cabin at the right temperature at the right time. I'm not a frunk user, but I also dented my hood the very first time I opened my frunk on my Tesla, so I think that frunks should be powered or they should not be present. The good news is hood struts, so even though you never open this thing, it is very well supported. Not a whole lot to know about the back seat. I saw somebody highlight this on YouTube, so this is not my observation, but I will identify it for you. Those are lightning bolts, which is kind of cool. Rear seats are red and beautiful, but are not cooled. There is my A to Z EV adapter. Link in the description. This is your armrest. It is extremely simple. These cup holders are the same size as those in the front. They will hold your standard coffee cup. They will not hold a big gulp unless it's a custom one made for small cup holders. ISOFIX is literally physically in front of you. This is the floor mat from my Prologue. I bought actual OEM Honda Prologue mats. I put the carpet one back in when I sold it, so they got mats, but I stole the all-weather back seat so I could cheap out on my WeatherTechs in the front. And we can look at the front with that. 2 vents in the rear. Whether or not you like these, they're extremely functional. They roll in all kinds of directions, and to turn them off, it is just simply that. I love the fact that these are mechanical and they're simple. There's some piano black-ish stuff going on here. This is kind of the same design, but just hard plastic. No piano black on the touchables, which is great. There are 4 speakers visible, 1, and then you've got 2, and then 1 in each of the front doors. I've got a pretty in-depth breakdown of the stereo system on my Prologue Blazer comparison, and this is just fun. The old school lock mechanisms to where you can push them down. Child lock is here. Passenger side has lumbar. SS badge is embossed here. This is a pretty simple GM design. You'll recognize all of this if you have a Prologue or any other GM product, really, but that's what you get here. As you can see, I like to keep the ambient lighting is only going to be on the lights. I'll put a video in that shows that. You can change the lights. So standard glove box, nothing special. There is piano black here, which I dislike. You've got a landscape. This is going to fit the Pro Max. You just have to kind of physically press it into place. This is rubberized. It's really nice. Slides out. There's a huge cavern down in here. Lots of space. 2 USB-C. There's another USB-C, and then you've got your 12 volt in here. That's that cavern. And like I said, pardon my stuff in there. This guy here is a single button. Steering wheel you're going to recognize. It is in the Sierra Denali EV. It's in the Sierra EV. It's in the Silverado EV, the Equinox EV, the Prologue, Cadillacs as well, but not quite the same. With this one, you get a blacked out bow tie to match that SS aesthetic. Speaking of SS aesthetic, you get the SS badge there on the steering wheel as well. And the bottom of the steering wheel is flat, which is an option on some of the trims, but I believe comes standard on the RS and definitely is standard on the SS. There's really no upgrades on the SS, even though some of them are labeled that way. Pretty much all of them get everything, including the sunroof. This is a full-size moonroof. The first half opens, so this half here opens all the way back, and then you can shade it all as well with the electronic shade. I'll show you that. You can close it all the way up, and it's a one touch. You can stop it anywhere, and that's a really nice feature to have. A lot of people like to open the roof. The stocks are kind of a love it or hate it. You have to go toward you and then up for reverse, and then toward you and then down for drive, and then just toward you is going to be neutral. It's really user-friendly, but it is an adjustment. If you have a Tesla, for example, you would go straight down and straight up. These are in and down first. That's something to get used to. The same thing with the other stock. If you notice, you can see from here that both the rear and front wiper and washer are all visible on the outside of the handle. There are clicky switches on the back that you can grip and find. They are rain sensing on the front. If you put it on intermittent, you'll be able to rain sense there as well. The vents here are the same as in the back. They twist to close, and then you can adjust them any way you want. I like having 3. This is the same as you're going to find again in all the GMs, the Prologue, the Silverado, the Sierra. Works really well, and the parts you touch, these are rubberized, which is really nice. Climate can be done manually with the buttons, and then on the Blazer you also have it physically here. Some of the stuff you need to touch with the screen, for example, the cooled seats and heated seats are here on the screen. They are physical buttons on the Prologue. And then we can take a look at the driver's display. This is my favorite driver's display option, but there are others. You can choose to display different things in this window. The highlights here are that you get a battery percentage right there. This is your kilowatt meter, which if you're not familiar with, it's going to tell you what's going on right now. We're using 1 kilowatt or somewhere around 1 kilowatt for climate control. You also get, this is your power and regen, and then your adaptive cruise is here. This is your sensor. It's going to check and make sure you're looking at the road. And there are also sensors here on the steering wheel, and in the event that you're in drive, they will show up. This plastic band here, if you see this, that means that the vehicle is equipped with Super Cruise. This is your Super Cruise button, not to be confused with your adaptive cruise. This is cancel. You turn on adaptive cruise, you would press Super Cruise once you have the steering wheel, and the steering wheel would appear right there in the event that you have that. It's green when it's working, it's white when it's available. Once you set it, this is set, down for set, and then up for resume on this here. This is a really nice, extremely intuitive implementation, and I'm glad they put this steering wheel in so many of the cars because I really like how it's set up. This is your following distance up or down, and that's basically it on this side. Super easy to understand. Heated steering wheel is available on some of the other trims of the Blazer. This is obviously equipped with it because it's the SS trim. Pick up and hang up the phone. You can speak to the assistant here, or you can just simply say it. You can access your music here. It's not going to change the track, but it will let me select what I want to listen to. And then this I can use to say I want to move up or down. Next, we need to look at the options for the driver's display, and those are going to be selectable here. There are 4 on the Blazer SS, at least that I've been able to identify. This is one, no more battery percentage displayed. It's just the fuel gauge part of it. And then a miles per hour. Your kilowatt meter is now very big on the right-hand side, and it's moved your optional window to the middle. The next one is going to incorporate your Google Maps, as well as your kilowatts, your adaptive cruise, your power and regen here, and then your speed, as well as your available range, but it does take away the battery percentage. This one is going to show adaptive cruise distance in any vehicle in front of you. It puts your music display here. Your optional window is gone on this one. Adaptive cruise, suggested speed, miles of range, power meter, and then finally you have kind of the minimalist view, which this is basically the heads-up display but on your screen, and it's got your adaptive cruise, your power meter, your miles per hour, your suggested speed, and your range. Now southwest, the direction and the temperature, I believe in all of the settings except maybe the Google Maps are going to remain where they are, so those remain pretty much no matter what. Nope. On the Google Maps, they are also present. The doors have red stitching here. This is one of the differentiators as far as GM. I don't know why, but this is what they choose to differentiate different models and trims. The Blazer is a Chevrolet, so it only gets auto up here. My Solterra, which is half the price, gets all 4 auto up and down, but the Blazer only gets auto up on the driver's side. The Prologue, the touring trim I had both front driver and passenger auto up. You do have folding mirrors. You can set those to auto fold. You can set your left and right mirror setting here. You can save those settings right here. This steering wheel moves manually. The pull is right down here, so you don't have a driver profile setting for your steering wheel, which is telescopic. You've got next track, previous track right here, and those would be your channels on XM, whatever you're using. And then you've also got, this is a regen paddle, which displays like this from the front. I don't use my volume knob very often because I'm constantly using these two buttons here. These are your up and down volume buttons. There are also a lot of details on my Blazer already posted on my channel. I'll put the videos right here that you can check out, especially my Prologue comparison, where a lot of the nitty-gritty specs are identified and proven, including the 70 mile per hour efficiency. The Solterra does 3.1 and the Blazer does 2.6. But can we make the Blazer do better? Let's try a hypermile. Navigate to C. Harper Chevrolet. So today we're gonna hypermile the Blazer. I've got Super Cruise turned on. It's set at 55. We're on the interstate. It's telling me 53% arrival at C. Harper Chevrolet to get my power cord that I paid for that they forgot to give me. Let's see if we can beat it. I'm at 69% right now. We're not off to a bad start either. 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour. I am also running climate, 73 with cooled seats on auto. The 43 toll is like $1 a mile, so I'll take the back road.
In a quarter mile, take exit 2. Continue on Big 6 Road for 1 mile.
And on the back half of this trip, I'll use an alternate route, which is all highway. Most of the roads on the way to C. Harper are either 45 or 55. Here we are, C. Harper, 1,209 miles, trip time. For this half of the route, I ran the climate normally and followed the speed limit. It doesn't really get much more efficient than 55 miles an hour. I did arrive 12 minutes later than predicted, but I had 6% higher state of charge. 3.7. I'm now at 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour, and I had to increase the climate to 75 because it was too cold. It's just the nature of turning off all the vents. See, I've got all my vents turned off. Well, I went to the EVgo and I can't enroll in Auto Charge Plus. So far, 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Turns out all you have to do to enroll the Blazer in Auto Charge Plus is log into EVgo through the My Chevrolet app. I feel really stupid. So here we are on the journey back. I took I-70 to I-79. My arrival time is 5:56 p.m. with 30% battery. Let's see if we can hypermile this. I'm pretty sure if I was in the Prologue right now, I would be dying. But because I'm not, I've got the climate set at 76 and only one vent is turned on and the rest are off. All of the rest, including the back seat. These cooled seats make that much difference. This is my first vehicle with cooled seats. 3.6 miles per kilowatt hour. Super cruising on 19 South instead of 79. All right, home arrival, 3.7. This time I beat the prediction by 10%. 40%. And I only sacrificed 12 minutes. 6:08. I'm going to Allentown, Pennsylvania. Plan. I've got the arrival set at 20. And now we know hypermiling the Blazer is somewhere around 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. For this, I'm going to try to get to Allentown the cheapest way. It's telling me I need to stop at the Rivian Charger in Hagerstown for 31 minutes. 30 minutes could be 3 10-minute charges, but what if it's 6 5-minute charges? There's 125 kilowatt in Williamsport. Good on tire pressure. Navigate to Cedar Beach Park, Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Sure, Cedar Beach Park.
All right, what we got? We're gonna go down to 73. We'll open up the vents. We're not doing hypermiling today. I got Breezewood Supercharger, Allentown Supercharger. Wow, an arrival at 38%. Okay, I'm not gonna do that because we're going cheap today. Then on the way back, I'm gonna try to beat the nav. I got 59%. Guess where we're at? Friendsville, DC1, CCS combo. Plug in and confirm your session. And button. Okay, DC1. You were unavailable last time. It is 10:07. It's not a great result, 26 kilowatt, but it's okay. 5 minutes is 5 minutes. We'll do whatever we get. 5 minutes. Stop, charge. Let's get going. So, hey, Google, show me chargers near Cumberland, Maryland.
Sure, Tesla Supercharger. Let's go.
And Google, navigate to the ChargePoint charger on Canal Street in Cumberland.
There's a ChargePoint charging station 25 miles away. Navigate to that one?
Yes. I'm 300 feet from the charger, but we might have a problem. Let's see if we have a problem. I've got, yep, 2 vehicles posted up, so we will not be charging here.
Your destination is on the left.
Show me charge point charger near Lakeview Road Northeast.
Got it. Charge point charging station. Your destination is on the left.
How about the resort? All right, yeah, buddy. We got a couple of these again. Let's activate them with EVgo. Open the charge port door. Press the stay on button. 70 kilowatts is good as a Prologue driver. Now what's it telling me to do here in the map? I might stop here more often. This is kind of nice, and it's way out of the way, and I doubt people are out here using it. Cumberland is becoming more and more busy each time. It says charge to at least 43%. I'm at 32%. The 2 charging stops are Hagerstown Supercharger, 10%. I don't think we're doing that. I wonder what I'm paying right now. 34 cents a kilowatt hour. Man, that's cheap, and 70 kilowatts is not bad. Since this direction is the cheap way, I think we're just gonna hang here. The best thing about charging at 70 kilowatts is I don't have to be concerned with the climate. I won't get the warning that says your car might be charging slower. I didn't have to really worry about it at all the way to 57%, because I went into the resort and I used a restroom. I took a look around. On the way back, I saw a couple level 2s. This is what it would be doing if I was plugged in at a really fast DC charger and I had the climate turned on. It would be doing like 77 kilowatts. How can I complain about 72 kilowatts at 34 cents per kilowatt hour? I'm gonna sit here to 80. There it is, 80%, charge complete. Well, it says 0% on arrival. Well, cool. We'll decide on the way what else we're gonna do. I'll just go 60 and we'll see how large that 0 grows to be. And just to add to the confusion of EVs, my Nemesis says 264 miles and the GPS says 206 till I get there, yet I'll have 0 range. So somewhere in the middle is probably true. From my top 10 EV necessities video, I've got one I'd probably put 12th or 13th. All EVs should have a guessometer with a range to it like the Chevy Bolt. So here's the predicted range, but also here's the range if you hypermile, or here's the range if you drive like a hooligan. It's a visual reminder to new EV owners that the guessometer isn't a fixed and final number. Couldn't agree more. So the GPS just told me I was going to arrive at 1% and was not happy about that and asked me to add the Camp Swatara Road GM Energy Pilot Flying J, so I did. And now it says I'm going to arrive there at 17%. I've added the charge point near Hagerstown, which will be another brand new one for me, but remember, we're trying to be the cheapest on the way and the fastest on the way back. And I can't do EVgo if I want to be the cheapest. So I'm going to arrive there at 60%. Okay, so if someone is behind you, and they're really, really close behind you, and they get even closer, what happens is Super Cruise will switch lanes into the passing lane. Even if you're in the right lane and there's no one else, if someone is behind you and they speed up and they get really close to your bumper, it will get out of the way into the passing lane. And the car that is the closest in front of me, it's pretty far away now, was doing this and just kept making the car change lanes to the left, and then the car would slow back down, and then it would change lanes back to the right. And it did. After the 3rd time, I just slowed down to 55 until he passed me. But something that I've learned about Super Cruise. Okay, this place is crazy. It is like a truck depot. I have no idea what's going on. It's like 2-stage. It goes to 28 and then decides whether or not to give me more. Then it went to 55 and then decided to give me more. Now it's at 74. I have no idea what I'm even paying. I'll look at that in a minute. Okay, so if I have this right, it says $1 per kilowatt hour. I gotta get out of here.
I thought it was cheap.
Oh, it's not. It's insanity. I gotta know. As advertised, I just paid $4.90 for 4.9 kilowatt hours. Fun mistake. I mean, you learn as you go. I-81 North. Not much to see here. That's kind of the theme of I-81 North. 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour, which is what I've been getting total for the car so far. Can't complain. So I added Carlisle back to the navigation. I can't do 100 miles at a time without stopping. Made it to Carlisle. Buttons. This will be my first plug-in with Auto Charge Plus enabled, so we'll get to see how that works. Let's find out. 178 at 48%. 121 kilowatts at 61%. But I think we'll unplug. So I added the Myerstown charger back on because it's the closest EVgo to Allentown anyway that's on my route. Might as well grab some juice. Some thoughts about the Blazer. The Super Cruise is stupendous. The car is so much more comfortable to ride in. And the cooled seats, man, the cooled seats. I will never not have these again. Myerstown Pilot, we've made it. Let's plug in. There it went. All right, 151 is where it landed. Let's do climate off, see what happens. Looks like it's just going to continue to fall. No big deal there. I've got 4:15 as an arrival, and my arrival is supposed to be 4:30. So 5 minutes. Here we are in Allentown, and there are version 4 superchargers right by the park where I test drove the ZDX. Holy moly! I'm at 48%. Charge your other EV. See if it recognizes where I'm at. Charge here. Start charging. And we're in. All right. Excellent. I'm ready to go. Let's see if this works. If I just do EV payment filters, and I've got ChargePoint, EVgo, Supercharger, non-Tesla are the only ones I have selected. What if I just undo ChargePoint and Supercharger, non-Tesla, and then navigate to home? Just says 38 minutes at the EVgo. Let's replace. So I've got Harrisburg Pike and Camp Swatara in the navigation. Whichever one of those is fastest, we're gonna do that. Back again at the Myerstown EVgo. Okay, so I did it. As you saw, I left my DC plug dongle unplugged, and it ended up on the top part of the car. Too late to do anything now. Doesn't look like it's damaged, so I lucked out there. Let's see what we got going here. 45% on arrival. I'm not going very fast here. Let's see what happens if I turn off climate. I just don't think I'm going to be going very fast. I think I'm just going to go to 80. What I will be able to do is enjoy 100 kilowatts at 67%. And since I'm too high in the pack, I can turn the climate back on and enjoy it. I just hope I didn't damage my charge port door. So 89 kilowatts. It's a little bit faster than I would be going at the resort. I'd like to just do the resort one more time and call it. It's telling me 11% on arrival for the Rocky Gap. I think this is what we're going to do. It's 2 hours and 40 minutes straight in the car. Probably should go refresh my coffee. I got 10-12 arrival, 80%. Fresh Pilot coffee, $2.85 to fill that sucker up, and we are back on the road. Efficiency is 2.9. They had me pull off on 39 to avoid a traffic jam on 81, and I was like, man, I really wish I could spray this car off. So I just ran into a car wash. Sadly, the car wash did not work, so we're off again. Yeah, pulling in Rocky Gap. All right, it's 75 miles of range. 11:38 arrival at home, and what was it, 11:46 was what it said. So at 11:45 I will leave and I will beat the GPS. So it's a long walk to the restroom, but I just got back from way down there and I think I'm ready to go. Navigate to home.
All right. Head east.
It says 10% arrival. Well, we know what to do with that. And since we just did our hypermile video, I learned to, let's cut those. And we'll cut the ones in the back too, make sure they're cut. Yep, those are cut. Climate is now 75. Cooled seats are on setting 1. If you've ever been through Cumberland, it has really low speed limits to start with. I'm gonna go 55 until this says something other than 10%. We're working with a 40-mile delta right now. I got 111 miles of range and 69 miles to go. So 40-mile delta. I don't know what my percentage is going to end up being, but right now it says I'm going to arrive at 11%. Climate is off. I'm going to go whatever the speed limit is. Speed limit just switched to 70, right? Yep, right there it did. And then we're going to go to 70. Because remember, we still got to beat the GPS. Just past Friendsville, the point of no return. We still have the Saberton supercharger, technically. 68 miles of range, 33 miles to go. It's telling me 12%. And a total of a 6-minute loss from the start, from the supercharger in Allentown. Every once in a while, I lower the passenger front window and the driver's rear window to ventilate it. I also have my ventilated seat going, set on 1. Climate's not even really that valuable because I'd have to set it to like 68 because it's 71 degrees out before it would even blow cold air. So it's not really costing me a whole lot of comfort. Also, the ups and downs, the mountains. So on the ups, I'm doing 68, and allegedly, human beings could be doing 75 on the downs. It's another way to make up time and still grab some efficiency. Here's the numbers. I'm at 14%. It's 11:52. It said 13, but I was able to scooch that, and
Welcome home.
Thank you. There's the bolt, baby. Sight for sore eyes. 597 miles, 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour. It's just a 2.9 miles per kilowatt hour machine. 14% arrival. I'm even in the garage now. It's 11:54. Less than 10 minutes from the original estimate in Allentown. And I went to a car wash and it didn't work. And I lost about 5 to 7 minutes from that. So let's sum up this whole experience. The Subaru has lane centering, and you can turn it on anytime you want. And for this generation, this is the base model. It's easy to get in and out of. It drives and parks smaller than it looks, and it looks pretty small. However, it's got tons of utility, and if I have less than 5 miles of driving to do, I take it every time. The tires are huge. The wheels are small. It goes over the bumps. It's got tons of ground clearance. The steering wheel is small and easy to turn. It's got regular door handles and wireless Apple CarPlay. The Blazer looks good, inspires confidence, drives like a bat out of hell, handles like a very large car with good handling. This thing really is a big vehicle, and it sucks to drive over potholes, but it's fantastic, wonderful, remarkable, excellent over the road. The difference between 55 and 85 is a little tiny bit of wind noise. I love that people hate it. I love that people love it. Meanwhile, no one cares about the Subaru, except other Subaru drivers who don't know about it. They want to know everything there is to know, and then of course I tell them it's actually a Toyota, and they don't care anymore. The Subaru's infotainment is like 4 out of 10, but I don't talk to it very much because of CarPlay. I don't think the combination of 615 horsepower and all the available options with the Blazer will be available for $58,000 again anytime soon. And it also makes me feel great when I know I paid less than someone would today for a Model Y performance. And yes, living without CarPlay is fine. The Bluetooth connection handles my calls and texts. I just use Google instead of Siri. The navigation, in fact, at this point is my favorite in any car. It's just the Prologue, only bigger. And not having Apple Maps as a crutch has forced me to learn how to use it. My battery percentage and my miles of range are available all the time. I don't have to pick or choose or go to a menu. And I can drive hands-free on any conceivable road that would feel alright on. But I love taking the Subaru to the store. I love the manual liftgate because I can open it and close it as many times as I want without worrying about breaking a motor. I love the real door handles and the fact that I can just touch the handle in one place and another to open and lock it. And yes, I know, the Subaru doesn't have one pedal driving. It's not the same. But I've figured out that I like the paddles more than the button, even though I really hate the paddles. But I don't have to look down to make an adjustment, and I've kind of given up on the brake hold. I don't like the way it feels when I drive away on it. And right as you may be thinking, oh, the Subaru sounds horrible, it isn't. It's $285 a month. My wife thinks it's really easy to drive, and that speaks volumes. $285 a month with $1,200 down. If I don't want to make payments anymore, I just write them a check for like $9,000. So did I make a mistake? It's my opinion that everything's cool over here in the Adams Everything EV Garage. What's the next move? Well, I've got a reservation for an R2, and I don't think that's for me. So my wife will take that one in the event that it's affordable enough to buy, because nothing is as easy as the Model 3. But I think the Rivian will be close. close and cool enough to compensate for what's missing. If I decide the Blazer doesn't make sense for me anymore, my next car that I desire to check out and own and see what that ownership experience is like would be one of the new Bolts. My biggest concern there would be the seats. And I would definitely get every single available option, and I hope I wouldn't have to have a white one, but something tells me it would be if that's available with every option. It's also at the top of my son's wish list. Even though he absolutely loves his Bolt, I've got a 1-year video coming up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Value for money, I think I did great. I think the Blazer EV SS has tons of cool things and is a great deal for what it offers. It has no luxury and doesn't pretend to. It's just a pedestrian car that's really fast with really big wheels and really red seats. GM's got a pretty good handle on the infotainment and the technology, and the only concern I have is how much per month will I have to pay, or will I decide to pay once that 3 years of free OnStar stuff is over. I know this was a long one, and I hope you found some value here. Let me know what you want to learn about these two cars next, and I've got a whole bunch of ideas already, so more videos about them to come. But at least this is something you can watch while you're falling asleep after eating your turkey. I did release this one on Thanksgiving Day, ultimately. So enjoy your holidays. Thank you so much for watching. Join Patreon or become a YouTube member for early access to videos. And of course, subscribe for more. We'll see you on the next one.
Hey! Smash the like button!
Thank you.